and boom goes the dynamite.
Welcome back to the only live Monday through Friday lacrosse talk show. This is Daily Dive. I'm your host, Michael Carbellis. To everyone on the West Coast, good morning. To everyone on the East Coast, good afternoon. It's time for lunch and some lacrosse talk. On today's show, our top story will be 2 new player deals in National Lacrosse League and what links they have to other deals that were made. Our Fanatic segment is who would be the NLL cover athlete based on, of course, the Madden discussions that are happening right now. And our last brew, presented by Daily Dive, presented by Beer's Coffee Company, is the PLL numbers from opening week versus the NLL this season. Without further ado, it is Wednesday, June the 7th, 2023. If you want the best in Daily Dive merchandise and to support the show, head to Daily Dive Lax and get shop everything with this logo on it. You click the link tree, and then you click the Our Store tab, and you're taken right to the shop. Shop the awesome merchandise with the awesome shirts. You won't regret it. Someone on Twitter already did, which made my day, because when you get one person to do it, it's like, well, that's awesome. That made me so happy knowing that I'm impacting people enough that they would want to actually support us, support the show as we try to grow the game. And our top story presented by that store is Marshall Powless and Colton Lidstone have agreed to new deals with their respective teams. Now, for Marshall Powless, in 7 games with the Albany Firewolves, he scored 20 assists and 7 goals for, of course, a total of 27 points, made a SportsCenter top 10 play, and I thought looked very good. He was traded from the Saskatchewan Rush, and remember, he actually joined our show like a few weeks before that point. So it's awesome that Marshall Powless, not only is he a friend of the show, but also his game blossomed in Albany, now has a brand new 2-year deal. I think that's pretty awesome. Colton Lidstone, who was drafted by Panther City and then traded to the Riptide this year in exchange for Callum Crawford and, of course, other assets involved in that. But he was involved in the Callum Crawford deal. He has a new 2-year deal with the New York Riptide. So great job for those guys paying dividends with their new teams. And I have to say, it looks like right now both teams won each trade. I will always be on the fence, and well, not on the fence, but saying I thought the Rush lost the Marshall Powless trade. I think Marshall Powless is a very good forward. He's a great lefty. I don't know what it is about lefties in box lacrosse having insane stick skills, but he's definitely one of them. Like, I think Jeff Teet's a lefty. I know Jeff Teet's a lefty. There's some strong lefties in lacrosse, and I wish I had them all pulled up for you right here. But it's like, man, are these guys better than the righties? But yeah, Marshall Powless, regardless of what hand he uses, he's incredible either way, and I think he well deserves a deal. And this also goes back to yesterday's point we were talking with Cooper Perkins. Remember when Cooper was saying we need transparency in these contracts? I agree with that. I don't want to just see how, like, as Cooper says, he didn't want to see what was in Josh Courier's pockets. He just wanted to see, like, which guys are valued more. Like, you can tell when a trade is made if a guy has a really, bad contract. We don't know how much Marshall Powless was getting with the Rush. And I was getting this brand new deal after showing out in 7 games. Never had a game where he had less than 2 points. I mean, he's got to be getting some bank, right? As far as NLL players are concerned. And I feel like it creates discussions with fans, which obviously helps grow the game. And Cooper said he doesn't think it'll ever happen. I think it will 10 years from now, which I guess in some people's eyes might be never. But if we're patient, I think it will happen. But this is another reason why I want to see this stuff happen. I can almost argue that Marshall Powless' 2-year deal, I can almost guarantee that that's way more than what Colton Lidstone's getting. Remember, Lidstone has not even played an NLL game yet. And he was I believe a top 48 pick, if I remember the stat correctly I read earlier. But he's He's got a lot of minor experience, and I think Lidstone could be a sneaky little Jeff Teague co-star. We'll have to see as roster changes happen and all kind of stuff. But great job for these two young men on getting the bag, whatever that bag is, however big the bag is, they got it regardless, and that's what matters for them. So again, Marshall Powless to the Albany Firewolves after being traded to the Saskatchewan Rush. He's now signed a 2-year deal after showing out. And Colton Lidstone, who was involved in the Callum Crawford trade, is now signed a 2-year deal with the Riptide. So again, great news for both those guys. Still to come on today's Daily Dive, we're talking about what if the NLL had a video game? And also, what other game is there out there for lacrosse? You might be surprised what we were able to find if you haven't seen us on Twitter yet. And our last brew still to come is those PLL numbers. How good is Paul Rabel's league doing? What are the comments about it? We're right back to Daily Dive right here on this wonderful Hump Day edition. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Daily Dive, presented by Fanatics. If you want the best in sports merchandise and memorabilia, you've got to go to Fanatics. But before you do so, check out Daily Dive Lax on social media. Click the link tree in the bio, and there you will see the Fanatics logo. Use that to purchase through every league and every team on Fanatics. You've got NLL shop, NBA store, NFL shop, MLB, all kind of stuff on there. You want the best, and you've got to get it through Fanatics by using the link tree and Daily Dive Lax social media bios. Okay. Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen is on the cover of Madden NFL 24. That, of course, was rumored, and now it happened. You may say, well, he doesn't deserve it. Well, to be fair, Patrick Mahomes has won it twice already. You could have argued Jalen Hurts or Joe Burrow. I would have gone with Joe Burrow, but hey, Josh Allen's got the Buffalo fandom behind him. And so it got me thinking naturally as a lacrosse fan and a fan of the NLL, what if there was a Tavares NLL 24? The reason I say Tavares because he's obviously the GOAT right now in lacrosse, or at least in box lacrosse. So I'd have to say John Tavares would get the name if they were to slap a name on there in 25. So rather this might be, but if there was an NLL 24 named by Tavares, who would not only sell, but has had a great season? Well, I have 3 finalists for you guys. We've got Jeff Teague, who's the young phenom of the league, Christian Del Bianco, the MVP, and Dane Smith, who might just be the best player in the league and just won finals MVP with the Buffalo Bandits. So, an argument for all 3 of these players. I think Del Bianco, and I know he's going to kill me for saying this, but I believe Del Bianco has the least amount of sell value. To be fair, and I love goalies, trust me, I just think a goalie is not as flashy as a goal scorer who always has a stick in his hands. It's great that Del Bianco's can get assists and have those full arena passes, but unfortunately, it's just not. It's not sustainable in terms of value, in terms of ticket sales. But he also had an incredible season. Like I said, to win MVP as a goalie and goalie of the year is absolutely an amazing accomplishment and one that is pretty unprecedented in a lot of sports. The other one I want to look at is, of course, like I said, Jeff Teague. He's the young phenom. He's the guy who, albeit having 97 turnovers, also tied for the league lead in points, or I believe won the points record. He was third in MVP voting, right behind Dane Smith, who I said I thought Jeff T was taking away some votes. But the fact is, Jeff T is an amazing player, and of course he plays for the Atlas in the PLL, but Jeff T's an incredible lefty, though no doubt sell to the younger viewers. And of course, Del Bianco's young too. Then of course you have Dane Smith. He's the polished 2-time, maybe 3-time MVP in the future. He's the polished multiple-time MVP who just won the championship and was the best player on the championship floor. This could be an interesting talking point. So what I'm going to do, because this is in the Fanatics segment, I am going to put this as a poll. In honor of Madden 24 cover release with Josh Allen, which player of these 3 finalists would be, is not, obviously, because it's not a thing, would be on the cover if EA Sports were to slap one out tomorrow? But don't worry, not all hope is lost, because we've got some new headings, if you will, in terms of there might be an actual lacrosse game that could be soon, okay? So I'm going to go ahead, and we're going to give credit to these people first, obviously. Hold on, let me make sure what it's called. Don't worry, folks, you're gonna like this, okay? This is credits of the Lax VR game on Twitter. Like VR, and I know, right? Okay. What I'm going to show you might make you go like, oh, wow, my goodness. So here we go. Let's do it. Are y'all seeing this right here? Oh, wow. I know y'all can't hear, but I can. So there you go. I think this looks incredible. I think it's an amazing thing. Play full 6v6 games. This was, of course, their June 2nd. It's apparently for MetaQuest. And this is also great timing in terms of the news in the sports world, because we also got news that Apple has released their new $3,500 VR thing. And let me tell you right now, if this game was on that device, I would start saving yesterday. This looks incredible. I want to give a shout to their page again. This stuff's, I mean, look at this. It's creator of the last VR game for Oculus Quest, a lacrosse virtual reality game. DMR hit up Brian Duper for inquiries. Shout out to Brian for this. I low-key wish he would have used it to do like a console game, but this is awesome. This deserves to be talked about, and I had to talk about it on today's show. Just great stuff. Just great stuff. You can be a goalie in goalie mode. I'm sure it feels a lot better when you play it, but hey, there's that. So again, that's why that comes up. So Tavares NLL 24, who would be your cover athlete? Would it be Dane Smith and we get more Buffalo love? Would it be Del Bianco show some goalies some recognition? Or would it be Jeff T, the young phenom for all the new fans? And also, I've already named my GOAT edition for Tavares NLL 24. It's Matt Fence. So there will be no GOAT edition vote. Matt Fence is on that cover. When I come back, though, we got more to talk about. It's the PLL. What folks are saying about the awesome numbers and what the NLL should do about it very fast. Daily Dive will be right back to conclude next. Don't go anywhere. If you want coffee flavors you never knew you needed, to get you through yet another work week, you've got to go to B-Res Coffee Company and check out the coffee made by gamers, for gamers, and of course, lacrosse and Daily Dive fans. When you check out on brescoffeeco.com, you will use the code Daily Dive to help out this show so much. Last brew presented by B-Res Coffee Company, code Daily Dive at checkouts. Well, the Premier Lacrosse League and Paul Rabel's Darling had an amazing accomplishment this weekend, and let's go ahead and show you what that accomplishment was. So, 782,000 peak viewers for Redwoods versus Atlas on ABC, the most watched game in PLL history. Wow. Shout out to Paul Rabel and crew for getting that done. Now, to be fair, obviously this helps because of their, as I mentioned yesterday, their social media presence would have you believe that their product is far superior to the NLL's. That's just from me. If you're from the outside looking in from a fan's perspective, from a casual perspective, the PLL is not just a better league. The NLL looks like one of those cheap bush leagues, okay? That's how much better the PLL outside looks. And then you combine that with the fact that Paul Rabel was on First Take with Stephen A. Smith, was on Get Up talking with Dan Orlovsky and the crew. It's not fair for NLL fans right now, but it's just reality of things. So I'm not surprised that this came up. However, somebody played devil's advocate and just be glad it was not me. Hudson Jackson said 782,000 peak viewership and an average of 543,000 viewers on ABC is fantastic for a pro lacrosse game. This is the largest TV audience ever for a pro field lacrosse game. For context, and I love that he did this, I really do, the most watched pro lacrosse game ever was 689,000 viewers for the 2005 NLL Championship on NBC. First of all, what happened to that? Second of all, let's get to what I think is the best part of this. Adam Levy, friend of the show, said 689,000 for an NLL championship game in 2005. The NLL would crush that figure if they were on NBC for the 2024 NLL Cup. 1,010% agree with Adam Levy on that point. And also great information by Hutton Jackson. I just wanted to say that it is baffling to me that we have yet to see a number for the NLL in terms of their finals or just all season. Do you realize how easy it is to say, oh, we had 1 million fans this year? Okay, and we covered the attendances so much on this show that literally NLL started posting it their darn selves, okay? When they got the information, they said, screw it, we're not letting Daily Dive take that. I promise you that's a thing. I'm not just going to sit there and have somebody tell me, no, it's not. Let me tell you right now. We have that information week after week for about 10 weeks on this show. And immediately, once the NLL caught hold of it, every single week, they started posting their attendance numbers, and sometimes during the games. But you realize how easy it is for a team of Georgia Swarm to literally say, oh, we had 9,000 people every single night? Baloney, you did. You're lying. Stop it. So not to get down the attendance number debate here, so I know it's been a long-standing thing on every lacrosse podcast ever, and rightfully so, but we've given it its fair share of lights here on this year's show. So why haven't we heard about the ESPN Plus viewers? Why have we heard about those ESPN2 viewers when they were on? No one can tell us? No one has the information? Or are they scared it's going to look stupid? Because again, if you had what you say, 1 million fans, I do believe it was a great year for the NLL in attendance. I'm not saying it's not a thing. I'm saying the number is not 1 million. Remember when we counted the Albany Firewolves and it was like 500 people and they said it was 3,500? Bull crap. I'm not gonna let teams in this league that I love get away with that. So excuse me for going on a rant, but the PLL pulled actual numbers from ABC. I'm pretty sure ESPN had to give them that information. They didn't just count it up and say, oh, God, only 500 people watch this, so let's just add a bunch. No, those are facts. We did not get facts this year from even the attendance of the games. That is damning to me. That's almost like stupid. We were so hell-bent on trying to look cute for the fans and, oh, we had 1 million people. Okay, what? Who cares? There were never 2,000 people at a Panther City game. And I love talking to Callan Crawford, love talking to Jonathan Donville, love the Tracy Kowalski liked a tweet of mine, love that Maggie Hill was on the show. There's no way in a burning furnace they ever had 2,000 people at a Panther City game. So yeah, it rubs me wrong when I see that we can't even get the ESPN Plus viewers. I don't know if the information's not available. I've technically never seen ESPN Plus graphic, but I'm pretty sure it's available somewhere. We were so convinced, they were trying to convince us, the casual fans, and even the diehards of lacrosse, they were trying to, the National Lacrosse League tried to tell us that when we had 1 million fans, we're doing great. No, stop it. Again, I am in no way denying that they've had a great year in attendance and probably one of their best years ever. I'm saying it's not 1 million. Both can be true at the same time. And the fact that PLL just boasted that dang number really irked me wrong. Because I wanted to see more transparency in the NLL. And isn't it funny that PLL is thriving? Maybe one of the reasons they thrive is their injury report is now more specific. Their transparency on viewers is very open. Oh, we had 1,000 people at the game. I don't care about that. How many people watched the game? Because we know attendance numbers are skewed. And again, I'm not going to ever, I'm done talking about it on the show. I just thought, I love that the PLL did that, and I'm ashamed the NLL has not given us a dang thing about ESPN Plus or even ESPN2. Really? Remember the outdoor game in San Diego against Las Vegas? That was awesome. Didn't hear anything about it. Great. Thank you, NLL. Again, this league is too high and tight for its own good sometimes. These guys, I know they don't make a lot of money, but if you want to grow, you got to sacrifice and say, hey, I made $5,000 a season playing the NLL. So be it. That's more than I make in a season playing the NLL. That's awesome that you're paid to play lacrosse, which, I don't know, it's not a kid's game. It's a game that you should be grateful you're playing. And to make any kind of money off it is good. But it's like the injury thing, too. We need to be more transparent in the NLL, and the PLL is Exhibit A on why that is. So I'm challenging the NLL, as I wrap it up here, I'm challenging the NLL this offseason. Their number one goal for me is not anything on the field, because I think the on-the-field play is great for now. I want to see every bit of transparency that's possible. That's what I'm challenging this offseason for the NLL. The best part is we still have 2 more shows to talk about this. Season 1's been great, man. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was going to rant today, but after seeing that and thinking about it a few times, I was like, you know what? Screw it. We're going to do it. Because Daily Dive isn't scared. We're not scared of people on this show. We're not scared of big shots because we don't have our hands tied behind our backs, okay? So I want to say what needs to be said on this show to the people who want to hear it. And that's the show for today. For everyone that tunes in to this show, thank you so much. For everyone that comes on the show as a guest, including tomorrow's guest, Steve Bermel of the Buffalo Bandits, thank you. So everyone behind the scenes working so hard for a Season 2 return. Of course, you already know what's coming, but the Season 2 stuff's going to be great. Thank you to those people. I am your host, Michael Carlos, saying you guys have a great rest of your day. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. This has been Daily Dive. Bye.